Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You've reached the Boho Info Show, and you just never know what we talk about next, right? Well, today we're going to be talking about a couple things. Nothing major, I don't think. Well, maybe for some of you. Um, but before we get into the show, I want to make sure that you guys get a piece of paper, pencil, pen to write with, cup of coffee. Also, uh, with our show, we always give our 2 cents worth, our opinion throughout the show, so expect that. And make sure you do your own research. Take everything we say with a grain of salt, but do your own research. And we make no claims on anything medically or otherwise. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing the show. Make sure you got your coffee like I do. So if you hear me taking a sip every now and then, I'm having some coffee here, and then your piece of paper and pencil or pen that make your notes and all this stuff. So today we're going to be talking about a few different things. Right now I'm trying to get update on the body count. I don't have that in Miami from that building collapse situation, but from what I'm hearing, there's still about 148 underneath the rubble on that. Around 11, 12 on the body count. Last I checked last night. So, and they're still dealing with it. So now it's at the point where they don't think there's anybody alive. So they think, okay, we're going to, get whatever bodies we can out of the rubble kind of thing. And, whether they're DOA or what. They're following up still on the construction, on all the construction, the permitting, and all that, doing an investigation on all that and the structural stuff. I'm still not hearing about USGS going down there and doing a land survey on that land to see if there was a possibility of, sinkhole situation or solidification. So I'm not hearing anything on that yet. So that's an update on that part for those in Florida. Also, too, we've got to go over a storm coming in. And I got word this morning that I need to go over it because I didn't realize we had one coming in. We have one coming in. It's the 05L that's coming in down from around South America area there. I'm going to try to put it in front of your camera so you can see it. And I'll point it out what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at right here. I do have my military map up where I can look into the future into this one. And this is how it's setting right now. As I was looking at the whole thing, it is going to hit landfall in Florida. I will give you a perspective of how it's going to work and where it's going to hit. It's also going to hit Dominican Republic, I guess they call it, and also Cuba. I'm going to give you an update. The picture you saw there was from Thursday. This is a Friday here. Let me pull it up. I think you guys can see it right there. Hang on, I'm pulling it up. So this is what we're looking at right here. So this is the blob you want to watch on the screen. And this is Friday the 2nd where the placement is. This is Saturday, and it's just south of Santo Domingo area. Okay, and we'll put it in perspective to see. It scrapes a little bit of the southern coast area of that as it's making its way, like the tip over here. If you see the tip right here, it was going to hit over there in that area. So be advised for that island for flooding and stuff like that. As for rainfall, it's not a major drencher, okay, but there is good significant part, like a half an inch per hour kind of situation for that area. As for wind speed wise, this is not one of those like killer storms, okay? All the meteorologists on TV are hyping up things for, okay? The wind speed on this one, we're looking at probably like a tropical depression that's going to hit over there, probably about between 15 to 30 miles in the Santo Dominican area there on the southern tip, and especially that little area of the island over here, okay? So, yeah. And then we're going to go into we'll go into, that's Thursday, Friday. Let's get into Saturday. And I'm showing you how, when, and where. It's basically just setting off the coast on Saturday of that Santo Domenico area on the southern area, the southern part of the island. Okay. And then on Monday, give you a heads up on that too here, hopefully. But Monday, it makes its way over into the two islands over here, and it does actually hit up into Cuba. See right here. So it does intensify on the rainfall part, not so much on the wind speed. Wind speed still remains like under 60 miles an hour kind of thing, with some spikes because of it's coming off the coast, you know. But right here is where it intensifies the rainfall at over 2 inches. Yeah, I'm seeing over 2.5, almost 3 inches on the northern part. So at this time on Saturday the 5th, around 8 a.m., it starts looking towards the southern regions of Cuba, from central to western part of Cuba. As the thing is kind of on a track to north position, more north than northwest. I'm going to start playing this out by the hourly, because this storm doesn't head west and it doesn't dissipate, because meteorologists on TV are saying, oh, you know, the desert sand is going to just make it, just dissolve it. It doesn't dissolve, people, okay? This thing is still staying on the track. Maybe it doesn't intensify because of the sand. It could be that way. You know, to make it a 5 category thing. But this thing is actually steering more in a north position when it gets closer to Cuba than a northwest or a northeast. So it's something definitely that the whole west coast of Florida and the Keys have to watch on. Now, a lot of meteorologists on TV are saying, hey, you know, it's going to hit the mountains in Cuba and it's going to basically, you know, pull apart, or they think it's going to possibly pull apart. I'm not seeing that, okay? The reason is on its current track. Hang on a minute while I get a drink. On its current track, being that it's not leviating up to the left or the right, meaning the west or the east, and it's more on a northerly track. It really isn't going over the big part of the mountains of Cuba. This is hitting more on the west side of Cuba. And when let me see if I can pull it down and open it up a little bit more, because Cuba needs to watch out for mass flooding on this one. This is going to be a dangerous storm for Cuba. Okay, but here's really something kind of interesting, and this storm is kind of a really interesting meteorological storm as this plays out and comes into the U.S. You see this right now. I don't know if you can. I'm trying to pull it up so you guys can see it here on camera. But see this? This is the central part, and this is what they're thinking. Hey, it's going to go over the mountains, but it's heading towards this way. So it's going to actually go between La Havana and the actual tip here of the west side tip of Cuba. So it's not really in the straight part of the mountains. You know what I'm saying? In the top part that's going to break it all apart. It's hidden in that direction. But here's the interesting part. This is an actual photo from, let's see, Monday the 5th at 11 p.m. at night. While this is hitting, we've got some big storms over here in the actual 2 Bay areas. What I mean by that, it looks like around Charlotte Harbor area and also Tampa Bay is getting heavy duty rainfall. And this is, I mean, this is a flutter. This is a flutter. Maybe not so much for Charlotte Harbor, but and from Charlotte Harbor all the way through Northport to Sarasota area, even the coastal Sarasota area. Okay, I'm looking at about 1.5 inches per hour. Really interesting. And then there's another one up here in Tampa, and that one's more intense. I'm seeing like 2.5, maybe 3 inches in that one. So be advised if you're on Monday at 11 p.m. night for the possibility of flash flooding in those two areas. So I'm going to say the coastal area of anything from northern Tampa on down to Charlotte Harbor area for flooding. And if you're around lakes, streams, rivers, all that, you better get out just in case, okay? Because all this water's got to drain somewhere, and where's it going to drain? Into the rivers, creeks, streams, ponds, lakes, etc. Okay, right? But anyway, getting back to the storm, I just wanted to give you guys that update. That's Monday, and if you ever want to see my show again, it will be posted in Twitter, and you guys can rewind this and pinpoint things. But I will stay on top of this because it might take a different track, but from what I'm seeing, it's like a more northerly type storm on the actual tropical depressional thing. As the storm is going into Cuba, let's look at wind speeds real quick, so that way if you have relatives or anybody that you know in the Cuba area, this is more intense for them than it was for the Santo Domingo Island. So yes, the southern region and everything from La Habana to the tip to the Cuban island there has to be eyes in the sky kind of thing and on the ground. This is going to be probably a good intense storm for them. I'm looking at definitely a hurricane hit on this one. This is, let me check some wind speeds for them. And if you're in Cuba, I would get out of that region, because as it's going to be hitting into landfall, we're looking at at least 100-mile-an-hour winds. Okay. And that's not mentioning any wind gusts or tornadoes or water spouts and stuff that might be spinning off into the actual Cuban island. Okay. Plus flooding. Okay. Plus flooding. So let's go into this and we'll look at the wind shear situation on that and see how, if, like the meteorologists are saying on TV, if this thing is going to split in half, if it's going to, take down the speed, if it's going to totally dissipate, whatever they're saying now, who knows anymore. I mean, they're just as much fake as, some of these other things on the news. But let's go into it. Let's just see. We'll give them the definition of the doubt. All right, guys. Okay. So it does go over the island right in this region right here. And it looks like it does go down for a little bit. But here's the kicker. You got the Gulf on both sides of Cuba. So, of course, it's going to hit hard, right? And when it leaves, what do you think is going to happen when it hits into the Gulf of Mexico? It's going to re-intensify. That's just common sense, right, guys? So, okay, as it's leaving the island, yeah, I'm seeing about 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds maybe on this one. And let's see what's happening with the rainfall, because this is the eye going over that island area. And La Habana is really close to that eye, if you know anybody that's living in that area, okay? Oh, yeah, see the blob? I mean, all this is going to get flooded. So La Habana, you're probably over 2 inches per hour kind of thing. So there is going to be some mass flooding in that western part of Cuba Island. So heads up on that. All right, so let's go into it as it gets into the Gulf, and I'm going to speed this up a couple hours to show you a new position of how it's going to be going into the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to chat in chat room, go right ahead. If you got questions, post it there, comments, etc. Put that in your chat. All right, now here's what's interesting is I'm going to pull this down. Okay, and this, what I'm showing a picture, this is also the 6. Okay, this is on the 6. See how it's left the island and it re-intensified? I told you it was going to do that, right? But here's another thing. We got a little thing happening over here off of Houston, east of Houston, basically, and looks like Mississippi, where something's coming in there with 2 inches per hour. So heads up there. This is 11 a.m. picture right now. And then we're going to go a couple more hours just to see how that is hitting. But it looks like around the whole coastal area of Mississippi here is going to have a nice little rain thing coming in with about 2 inches per hour. So heads up there. As this other storm down here in Cuba, wow, this puppy is really intensified. They're using the Gulf of Mexico as a vacuum. So it's vacuuming up about 3 inches per hour on that one as it's leaving Cuba. And as you see, it is heading more in a northerly position. Now, you can tell by the outer bands on the west side of Florida, basically all day. Tuesday, it's going to be coming in little by little. In the evening hours around 5 is when we're going to really see some serious rain bands coming in. As this thing is really not moving left or right, meaning west or east. So in the evening hours on Tuesday the 6th, it's basically Hoover vacuuming the Gulf of Mexico for rain. And as you see, it's just a little bit off the whole coast of Florida, right? If you're guesstimating, I'm going to guesstimate about, I don't know. I'm going to say, yeah, see, look at that. That's a lot of rainfall, man. About 3 inches in this puppy at the most on this storm. So this is a drencher for sure. And it, like I say, as it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico is so hot, it's just like sauna-ing the storm big time. But you can see all the rain bands are covering Florida all through the evening hours, even into Tuesday. Let's see, you guys want to know wind speed? Give me a minute. I'll pull that one up too. Alrighty. All right, so I moved this up to 11 p.m. on Tuesday the 6th, and it's nothing intense. I'm going to say the highest amount of speed I'm seeing on this one's about 70 miles an hour, but it's in the Gulf of Mexico, right? 65, 72. So yeah, nothing yet major. Okay, so let's go back to the rainfall. Now, coastal wise, I don't know. You might have water spouts. If you're out there fishing, don't be fishing. You know what I'm saying? Especially at overnight, you know. Waves are going to probably be ridiculous around there and around the coastal area a little bit. So you can have coastal erosion. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. So as you see, as this went over into the morning hours at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, it did veer off a little bit to the right. Okay. So the rainfall is still around 2.5 inches kind of thing. I'd say this is like a tropical depression, you know. And you can tell by all Florida is going to get drenched even on Wednesday. Also, a heads up down here on the border of Texas and Mexico. They got some intense rainfall happening. I don't know if that'd be the Rio Grande area, but I'm looking at 2 inches per hour. So all you illegals trying to pass over the river, it's going to be flooded. So go right ahead. Try to cross over, okay? Yeah. Good. And then, you know, if it don't work, you know, you can just float on down the river to the next town, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's my humor for the day. It's kind of dry. Anyway. So, okay, as a storm kind of veers a little bit to the right, which means to the east, it's actually intensed a little bit, where the actual outer bands are actually starting to reach like around the Tampa Bay to Sarasota coastal areas. And I don't mean like maybe from Venice all the way up to Tampa, like looking maybe, okay? It's not part of the inner rings, though, of this storm, okay? It's more like the outer rings of the center of the storm, and then you got the really, you know, outer rings, you know? So it kind of like just tickles the West Coast with those medium rings, with the rainfall that comes in, okay, which means it's about, you can kick in an inch, inch and a half kind of thing, you know. If you're wondering about speed, someone just said, okay, what about the speed? Okay, give me a minute. And it's a big eye, but it's not really a controlled eye. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so I'm coastal wise, I'm seeing about up to 50 miles an hour if you're in the Gulf of Mexico fishing around this thing, getting those shrimp and stuff, oysters, whatever, at the most about 36 miles an hour. Okay, so this isn't one of those, ooh, scary storm things yet. Okay, so this puppy is just a Hoover vacuum of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's just carrying its vacuum load of water through the Gulf of Mexico, you know. And it's still making its course on, this is all Wednesday still, people. All Wednesday, so nothing's going to hit yet. Nothing's going to hit yet. I'll show you. Yeah, it's coming. As I'm making my way through the time span through Wednesday, you're seeing pictures moved up. By the way, is everybody having coffee out there? All right, so that's where you wanted to see, where the landfall, because I had to show it, fast forward it best I could. We're going to back it up to 5 p.m. on Wednesday the 7th, okay? So that's where it's going to make landfall. Now we'll blow that up, and I'll show you exactly whereabouts that's going to be so that you guys get a perspective, so you can, you know, protect your home or, you know, your property. Or, well, map's screwing with me a little bit here. Hang on. All right, where'd he go? I lost him. He ran far away. He went to Mexico. Crazy people on the internet. Okay, this is getting to be too humorous. What's going on in the world? You gotta laugh at it. All right, so yeah. You know, you gotta find humor in all the bad stuff somehow, right? All right. It's crazy. All right, so here's where we gotta have some heads up. In fact, flooding issues, I'll put it that way. Everything from Tampa, because Tampa Bay can be affected on this coming in, because you've got the wind shearing, even if it's, let's say, anywhere from 30 to 70 miles an hour, but I'm not saying it's going to be. Let's just check wind speed, because I know you got freaking out over there at Tampa right now, probably, right? So let's see what's happening of Tampa north wind speed wise. All right, so yes, we have to worry a little bit about some wind. So we've got about 45 miles an hour that might be coming into Tampa Bay area, which means it's going to push a lot of that Gulf of Mexico water into Tampa Bay. Okay, plus you have the rainfall, right? And it's a nice eye, nice little organized eye at that time for some reason. But hey, that's how the storm works. So let's go back to the rainfall. This is where the flooding issues will happen coastal wise and inland. And, ooh, yes, very interesting. So let's make our way. So from 5, now this is Wednesday the 7th, from 5 to 8 p.m. range, it's going to actually make landfall in Florida. It's a west side, definitely. And let me kind of pinpoint towns that have to be on alert for flooding as well as wind issues. I'm going to say everything from Tampa north for sure at the 5 p.m. range, with them not being outside the window of any flood issues that's going to continue in the evening hours. But let me move this up further and blow it up more for you guys so you can see more, maybe the location of this. Let me take a sip of coffee. But we have severe, intense rainfall on this. I'm trying to get a shot here for Wednesday the 7th and basically pinpoint an actual area that this possibly is coming in at on the current tracking. So, and I definitely would have sandbags ready on this one, probably on this one here, it looks like, Give me a minute. I'm going to intensify and kind of get a locational thing on this if I can. If it pops up. Here we go. All right. Wow. Yeah. All right. So from Wesley Chapel on north. Okay. Let's see. So Wesley Chapel area is about a 1/4 inch. And then let's give you some info on locations. Spring Hill to Sugar Mill Woods area, Homosassa Spring area. So be careful of the river over there too. About a 1/2 inch per hour kind of situation. This is all coastal. Okay, giving you the first coastal report kind of thing going in. This is Wednesday the 7th, 8 p.m. We're looking at 1.5 inches starting in the range of tidal water, Crackertown, Bee Tree Ford area. Coastal wise, you got some situations happening. If you're living right here around Homosassa Springs, you got some situations happening on the coastal area, even for everything. So this puppy could actually flood the Homosassa Springs as well as flood the river area of Homosassa. Okay, so be advised, anybody living around that area. Even though the storms head north, it's the rain bands and the rain things that we're looking at for flooding. Okay. Then it intensifies to 1.5 inches around, and this is rain band wise. This isn't even the eye of the storm, guys. This is just rain bands. That's how bad the rain bands are on this. This is a flooder. Hang on a minute. All right. So yeah. Okay. Same area I told you about. Okay. So then here's the really, really good, bad part, I guess. If you're a storm chaser, I guess good part. Bad part if you're living there. We got 2.5 inches, Rosewood, Summer, Otter Creek, Elsa area. And this is all the coastal areas of those regions. Okay, I'm giving you, here's a bigger one, over 3.5 inches. Fowler Bluff, Yellow Jacket, Vista, and Swanee. So maybe even the Swanee River could flood. I forgot about that. That's up in that area as well. So if you're living around the Swanee River area, be advised for flooding, flash flooding too. Alrighty. And then further up, this is only the 8 o'clock range. Okay. So this might be a nighttime flooder. Be advised, be prepared, get your flashlights, get things to light up everything. Also, Stewart City, Jonesboro, Jenna, and Broskin area. I'm looking for that. Let's see. Wow, 3.5 inches. So the whole northwestern part of the storm is ranging from 2.5 to almost 4 inches. Okay. And it goes all the way in for the heaviest part up into the northern part of Florida with about 2 inches here on some of the bands. Let's see if I can get you a location. Give me a minute if I can pull it. Here we go. All right, so Hampton Springs, Roach, Purcell Junction, and Deckle Beach area. All right, so this is 11, and then you guys want to know wind speed, right? All right, give me a minute. Everybody take a cup of coffee, sip. All right, so wind speeds. All right, yep, we got some problems. All righty, so we're looking on the beach areas, and this is at 8 p.m. time frame only. About 51 miles an hour from the Homosassa area up to 47, 48 as it's making its way into the top northern part of that last rainfall report there I gave you. So you have to rewind to that. So let's go back. So, and I could see possible tornadoes on that one for you guys up there too, or spouts. Let's go back to the rainfall, because I think the rainfall with the flooding thing is going to be more of an issue. Here's the thing. I want to watch for people that are traveling in and out of the state, because I-75 goes through Gainesville. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That will be a problem. That's what I thought. All right. So we are definitely going to have some damage. Wow. All right. All right. Okay. I'm okay. All right. You better listen to what I'm about to tell you, because I've lived through 4 hurricanes and I know different scenarios. I'm going to tell you right now, you better get to the store within and get everything that you possibly need. And this goes for the whole state of Florida. Okay. I'm not saying so much on emergency supplies, but your food, your water, and medicines and prescriptions. And for those people that are living south of Tampa, anyone living south of Tampa, straight over to the East Coast and south, because I can see this disrupting any deliveries coming in the state of Florida. That means truckers bringing in goods to anything central to southern part of Florida, all the way down to the Keys. This is going to be a disruptor of all deliveries of anything. Okay. This is a prepper's note for you guys as well. Like I say, you may not need the emergency supplies if you're, situated, but this can be a disruptor on the food supply, food, water, medicine, prescription situation, medical, whatever. Okay. Get all your supplies for everybody central to South Florida from today's what, the 1st. Get it all in your house and done by no later than Tuesday the 6th. Okay. Grab whatever you can grab, and that includes your paper products. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to create a spasm here in Florida. Okay. But when I'm seeing what I'm seeing, this could be a disruptor. What I mean, that roads and highways will be flooded out where they cannot get any goods into Florida. Okay. And yeah, you've got until Tuesday the 6th for everybody central and all of everything central to east, west coast of Florida and south, all the way down to the Keys to get all your goods. Okay. Everything, maybe gas too. Okay. So prep up and get your stuff. Okay. Do it before the 6th. As this storm's coming in on the 7th, it's made landfall in the area I told you about, which, by the way, someone was asking me where the landfall would be. I'm looking around the area of Hovell Place, Fish Creek, Cleeton Beach, Dallas Creek Landing, that area, okay? And then the central part of the storm itself, as it makes landfall at 11 p.m. on July 7th. I'll give you a thing on that. Is Cook's Hammer, Hines, San Pedro Junction, and Alton. This is not basically a wind speed kind of situation, but when you have this much rainfall coming in, we have horrendous amounts of flooding. I mean, horrendous. This can destroy roads, wash out roads big time. Let me look here. So, all right. So somebody wants to know where I-75 is. Let me go back and, whoops, wrong way. Sorry, darling. All right. Let's go back to 8 p.m. And I will try to pinpoint where I-75 is. And this is for any travelers or delivery people out there. I'm doing a special one for you guys. So give me a minute as I'm loading down and going in reverse on my time frame. This is all what I'm looking at is July 7th. Okay. All right. So here is a major river that goes down in this area here. So it goes through Gainesville, Ocala, Villages, Orlando area, with all Disney's waterness. Okay. and then Spring Hill, and it goes further down into Okeechobee and all that lake and everything. Well, on this side of Ocala, which is around here, okay, all this area here is I-75. Okay, this puppy is going to hit it hard. I mean, it's the hardest I think I've seen it, honestly. I've gone through 4 in 1 year, and I really didn't see it hit like this one's hitting. And yeah, this is a this is going to be for the picture book. Big time. I'm checking out where this is going to make sure